We would like to welcome you back to Forsyth Building Company's Under the Hard Hat for episode 6. Today, our guest, his name is Derak Davis. He's one of our superintendents at Forsyth, and we're kind of going to highlight what he does for us, how he got to where he is, what it was like with him coming up in life, and some pretty cool stories that come along with that. Derak, it's good to have you on, brother.
Good to be back.
What's being a superintendent for Forsyth Building Company? What's something that you're pretty much going to do, or your job is on every single job site, no matter where it's at?
Number one is safety on every job. There's a lot that goes into just a daily routine for a superintendent, because you're not just looking at, well, what's tomorrow hold? What's next week hold? What's 2 weeks from now hold? Where are we going to be at sub-wise or percentage on the job? What's coming next? I mean, it's always a rolling schedule. You're making adjustments based on. And for me, it's daily progress is what I base it off of, and where I think we can be by what we've done production-wise in 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Yeah, if you remember the first episode that we had, we kind of talked about how you were the quarterback of the job site. I noticed something with the job you're on now, and I'll let you tell everybody where you're at now, but I noticed there's a lot more planning and preparation and figuring out a schedule. I saw you and Harold in Harold's office getting up a written schedule, and this was like way before boots even hit the ground, That's something I didn't know. How important to you and even you, Harold, is that step, having a superintendent who knows how to help you plan, who knows how to really do the planning themselves and take on the job site? How important is that to have in your company?
Yeah, it's real important, because scheduling means everything. Time is money, basically. If you think about it, somebody says, well, I'll pay you $70,000. And you think, whoo, that's pretty good salary. And they say, well, now that's over 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, that's not as
Not
good
a great salary, yeah.
if it's not 70 over a year, or if they said, I'll do that in 6 months.
Yeah.
So think about that all the time. It's the same thing with us. Time is money. We've got X amount of time and X amount of money to do a project. So the longer we're there, the less
the more money you lose, right? Yeah, the less you make.
Yeah, so there's a myth with owners for some reason that thinks, not necessarily us, but I've heard them talk about other contractors, that, hey, they stay on the job all the time. They're just milking it. That's right the opposite.
If
the longer you're there, the worse it is for you. You need to get in and get out quick. So anytime we run into bad weather, or during COVID, a lot of getting materials, that you could get available, slows your progress down, your jobs down, we panic.
Yeah.
Because now we only have X amount of superintendents, and you can do the math easy. And if they can go and do that job in a year, and each of them do a job in a year, then you can kind of estimate what you might make. But if that job runs a year and a half, and that job runs a year and a half, or that 6 month runs 2-3 months over, then obviously you're making less money and less time. So it's very important to try to do schedules. It's very important to try to stay on schedule, and that's just one aspect of what you'll hear from Derak today. That's really important, and it's really important. You asked about how important it is for the superintendent. Yes, he needs to be able to know and understand scheduling and understand the importance of it.
And, how crucial is it to you going into the job, knowing that Harold kind of expects that, but if you do start to see things, taking a little bit longer, how do you approach that? I mean, what's the game plan to get everybody back on pace?
A lot of times you'll get bottlenecks, what we refer to it in the field. If one of your subs gets behind, it can bottleneck the sub that's behind them, the next sub that's behind them. So for me, it's where can I put more men or a different sub in a different place to make up time? Can I get ahead with this sub while he's over here doing whatever he's doing? Can I put somebody, just for instance, the job we're on now, I couldn't have a plumber putting in his drains and have a guy digging footings on the same addition.
Yeah.
So I had to find somewhere to put my footing guy, my concrete man, and I had to find somewhere, so my plumber can work where he needs to work. But I don't want to lose neither one of them because I need them both there. And for me, I'm not real great with schedules on paper. It's not that I don't understand them. I just struggle with them because the field's different than the piece of paper is. And you don't know what's going to come that day or that week. And now with our workforce being like it is, most of your subs, most of your companies are running pretty lean just to find guys to be on the job. So they may pull their guys for a day, so you lose a day of production just to go do something that they're behind on somewhere else.
And some subs, not all, but there's some subs that their quality of men is lower than others, so they don't get as much production done. Others are better, like they can come in with 2 or 3 guys and do what somebody else can get done with 5 or 6. So it's hard when you're scheduling. You don't know any of that. You don't know what you got, what's coming. So
schedule is kind of like you first looking at your favorite sports team before the season starts. Like I talk about Auburn all the time. You can ask Harold. It's probably annoying, but on paper, my team looks pretty good. Like we should be pretty good, but you don't know until you actually play that first game. And on paper, you can create the perfect schedule. But you don't know how that schedule is going to unfold until you have boots on the ground, like you're there.
Somebody starts calling the plays. How's it work out?
Well, it's football, same as a job site. It's kind of a living, breathing thing.
It's a moving part.
It's moving. Every play in football can make a difference to the next one.
Yeah.
And same thing with construction. You could be way ahead and things are going good, and bam, a big cloud comes up, dumps an inch of rain all over everybody, muddies the site 2-3 days, messes up a lot of work you ought to have in place. If you got rebar and footings, you got to mulch it out, so you got to pull your rebar most time. You're doing double the work, and that's part of things you don't know. And now on the schedule, we didn't have that schedule.
Yeah, and kind of what you was talking about, if one sub is behind, now it kind of throws off the whole job site. It's the same way if one person on any type of team doesn't do their job, if it's a team sport, it affects everybody on the team. I mean, they didn't do their job, they didn't get it done, and it affects the whole team, not just them. If so-and-so don't show up on this part, well, now they got to come in another day, and it's going to mess up somebody else's day who's scheduled to be there.
Well, a lot of times when you do that, they're working other jobs on a schedule, so you got them scheduled for September 1st, 2nd, whatever it is.
Yeah.
This sub's got you behind, or 2 subs got you behind. Now you're going to push him behind a week. Well, he might not can make it that week, so you may lose 2 weeks for him to get back.
Yeah.
It's hard to just sit down and build a paper schedule and think that you're just going to hit everyone. It's not going to happen. There's too many variables in the field, weather, subs. I mean, it's just what's dictating the job. I mean, what's the driving
if you
force?
really stay working a schedule, somebody's got to work it almost every other day. Almost.
Yeah.
It's got to be But the main thing we try to do is hit milestones.
Yeah, and you talk about this whole schedule and this stuff. Has there ever been a job site you've been on, though, that you just felt like, man, I'm not going to finish this. Things are not going my way. It's raining 2 weeks straight. Like, has there ever been a time where you have looked at your schedule and you thought, oh, my gosh?
Yeah, I told the project manager to throw it in the trash. 13.5 foot of rain and COVID hit, concrete shortage. It was a nightmare.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd answer that. That's going to be the Welcome Center off I-85.
People didn't want to ride together.
Yeah, that COVID hit, and it just changed everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can throw scheduling out the window at that point. And we had over 13 foot of rain in, I don't know, a year and 8 months or something.
And I'm not sending any kind of bad shout out to anybody, but it is crazy that, and I'm sure other businesses, struggle with this, but the whole world was put on pause, except for a select few of jobs, and y'all are, basically told to suck it up and deal with it, whether your contractors wanted to come out there or not.
That's right.
We were deemed essential workers.
Yep.
I think that's the one time that, I didn't really have a big job. I worked at a restaurant. I was still in college, but I was not deemed an essential worker. And so all the people that were essential workers, them having to go to work during that time and hearing their horror stories of working during COVID. My sister was a nurse during that time, in the ER. And so hearing, I went catfishing every night. We played wiffle ball every day. Like my brother was a teacher. My brother-in-law was a teacher. We stayed on the river, or we stayed on the golf course. And we were talking about, I lost some family members, and beside all that, COVID to us was a vacation. Nobody came around you unless they knew you, and you didn't leave the house. And then on the other end, Jordan is busting her butt during this whole pandemic.
Yeah.
And all these essential workers are having to still wake up every day. And not only is your job tough, especially in construction and doing trades, but now it's even more tough because, like, you was telling me you had some people who had been riding like 4 deep in a car, and now nobody want to ride together, nobody want to stay together.
Oh, yeah.
So you're having to pay for each person to drive, each person to stay.
Yeah, each hotel room we had planned for different ones. 2 or 3 stay in a room. Everybody said nope, stay in my own room. The subs that we was helping pay and work out, but yeah, that was definitely the one job that got real tough and took us a little longer. It was hard to do, but Derek, we wanted to talk a little bit basically about like when you pull up to a job site on a daily basis. I know it starts early in the morning when you get up because you're thinking like we are, but just kind of pick it up from when you pull up every morning, kind of what your routine is, what you feel is expected, what you have to do in a daily.
Yeah, I'd like to know too.
Daily routine of a superintendent. And for a lot of y'all don't know, some of you may have seen the signs and stuff, but we're doing the Welcome Center coming into Alabama from Georgia on I-20 now. And that's the project that Derek is managing now for us. So kind of tell us a little bit about your daily routine.
Well, it's when you wake up, the job's on your mind. You got time to think about, on your drive, what you've already had planned. But in my mind, I'm thinking, how's the day going to go? Is it going to go the way I have it planned? I don't know how the sub's going to do. How's the third-party inspector going to be for the day? But me, it's every day. I'm very routine. I have the same, don't mess it up. I'm going to be the same time, same way to work. That's the way I do it. When I get there, it's first thing I do is, of course, I check my emails, make sure I'm not behind on any RFI or addendums or whatever may come out, changes on the job. And then and to be honest with you, I'm there a little early, so once I'm done with my emails, that's typically Derek's time. That's when I like to try to get in the Word, get something in me before the day. Because sometimes it can get a little rough on the job, and you don't want to be that guy that's out there.
Let the word out.
Yeah. Eat your breakfast and then eat your spiritual breakfast.
You have to. But for me, it's my emails get caught up, a little bit of spiritual study, Bible, and usually I have a meeting with the subs, tell them, where we at, what we're going to do, where we're going to be at tomorrow, when do I need to set testing up, or when do we need to get concrete, when's gravel need to be here, what we're going to do. That week, I'm on them fresh on their mind that day. where are you going to be tomorrow? Where you think you're going to be Thursday? Where you think you're going to be Friday? I need to know these things so I get things set up. But I just sit down, and a lot of times I like to go back through plans, make sure I didn't miss something highlighting, which, I'm not a perfect superintendent by no means. And all the guys that do it, none of them tell you they are. We're going to try not to miss stuff, but we're going to overlook it. But for me, it's just a refresher for sit down daily and kind of go over that plan that you're working on right then. What am I doing next? Later that day, I'm probably going to be looking at something in plumbing, looking at something in electrical. What I'm thinking in my mind, just as far as this job, this week was a pretty tough week because I had concrete sub, I had my plumbing sub on the site. I'm working with both on layouts, walls, measurements, where we're going to be at string-wise. There again, we go back testing concrete. Big thing, getting it on the books now. You don't just call one day ahead and think you're going to get it. Testing, you're not going to get one day ahead anymore. It's everybody's wanting 3-4 days now to get stuff on the job, and I understand it. Everybody's busy, but for me, it's just I don't know. I enjoy the challenge of what I do daily. I don't know why. It probably don't make sense to a lot of people. But for me, it's all about being organized and planning.
Yeah. On the welcome center that we're doing, where y'all at in that?
Well, we've got several footings in the ground, some piers poured. My plumbing's in the ground. It's backfill compacted. We're just working our way at the setup of the building and what we're doing to it. We're basically going to work from the east or from the west to the east. Coming around the building is going to be the best logistics for it. A little bit of concrete, a little dirt.
Talking about layout, see, people, when you walk into a building and you walk into a restroom and you see the partitions and everything's by code, everything's in the middle, I mean, wherever it needs to be at, right? Because you have obviously toilets or urinals and stuff at different places that meet. All that has to be roughed in when there's nothing there.
So, invisible.
Yeah, it's kind of invisible. So there's different means and methods of doing that. But when Derek's just talking about layout, it sounds easy. Let's go lay that out. But it's real tedious type work because you got to know exactly where your walls are going, so you know exactly the dimensions off the wall. You have certain things you have to meet code wise. And you're ordering other materials based on that, based on the plan.
That's where, all my respect for y'all, superintendents, project managers, my respect comes in so greatly because I had never been in it and I never knew what went into it. And just the fact that even when you're talking about a job, before the drawings come out, before anything like that, when you are mapping it out in your mind, it takes somebody who knows what they're doing, who's done it for a while. Like the way y'all talk around the office and the way when me and you talk about just doing stuff around the house. And you're like, well, I think I'm going to add this, and I think I'm going to do that. And I'm like, man, Derek, you could say this in 15 different languages, and now I'm learning. I'm learning, but in the same sense, it's cool, and I have a lot of respect. And I didn't know that that's what went into it as far as you have to have a pretty good building imagination.
Well, where we're at on I-20, the Welcome Center, we're adding on sections of it to stone it's real rigid. There's no flat place to start a measurement. Does that make sense? Like it's once you get something pulled string-wise, batterboard, getting squared up, it's kind of a chore. I mean, I would jump up and down, and when you do, especially laying out off a string for your plumbing fixture, this ADA, which has to meet their standards. If that hits when the finished product is there and they do their inspection, that's a big relief off a superintendent. I don't care how you are.
Yeah.
It feels good. You know what I'm saying? If you miss it, it feels bad.
Yeah, or on another job you was on, I forget the length of it, but it was 130,000 square foot warehouse, and you're setting all the anchor bolts while you're pouring the slab. And
That's another biggie.
That's
That's
another
a huge building.
Because a lot of these projects, they said you cannot alter the hose. You can't change anything. You can't wallow out that hole. That's most engineers won't allow that.
Whatever
So-
hole you put down, you better.
and the hole in the base plate is typically 16th
16th.
bigger than your bolt, and you got 4, 6, 8, 10. Sometimes project had the base plate was 4 foot wide deep. I
That's crazy.
think Jamie said it had 20 something.
Well, you know, those on the 5-story up there, they were poured in the slab,
Yeah,
footing pour. Might have 8 anchor bolts. They got hit.
yeah.
So you better not be off. I mean,
Quarter inch matters when you set anchor
yeah,
bolts.
big time. Quarter's a lot. Like, you can't be off quarter. But a lot of people don't understand that in our business, and a lot of, you could get out there and be an old sloppy builder and try to make it work and fight it and cut them out. You can't really drill them out at that point, but you can modify and do. But we don't like that. We want to hit it right. We want to be detailed as we can be and get it right the first time, and feel like that's really what we was hired to do, and that's what we want to do. But it is tedious work. Laying out the plumbing and laying out jobs. I mean, we talk about it like it's real easy. Just go lay it out.
not.
But it's not, and it's people like Derak that's got a lot of pride in his work too. It makes it hard on you and tough on you, because you really want to make sure it's right. But so once you get there and you do meet with your subs, and you've had your time that morning, you met with your subs, you talk through things. You still have things going on during the day. Like we said, this is a living, breathing thing here, the job itself. So you have problems, complications that come up. We've been on, I've been on some, I think, that you wasn't on, but we've been on probably 5, 6 team meetings with an engineer, architect, going over plans on drawings and details. That this is a renovation job, so not everything is brand new out in the field. You get matching and tying on, so we've had to verify things on the plans and to make it work. So that part takes a lot out of us, but we really can't just not do it and hope that they have them right, or it's going to slow us way down. So that's part of the day too. A superintendent on a job like that, you spend a lot of times on the phone with somebody, engineer, sub, or somebody working out a detail, because every drawing's not 100% right.
Yeah. Well, and being a superintendent, there comes a sense of job security. I'm not talking about getting fired and all that kind of stuff, but it's kind of something that's taking the world by storm right now. We're in the first parts of it. We have been for a few years, but artificial intelligence, man, to me, it cracks me up. I watch those AI Bigfoot videos all the time. And there's some AI videos, man, when I get older, I'm getting fooled, because there was one, all right, last night, this is off topic, but last night I saw, it looked like the National Geographic Channel posted. And it was talking about, this was Crocodile Island. And the rocks looked like a crocodile, and it zoomed in those trees, and there's birds flying over it. And I was like, that ain't a crocodile. That ain't an island. That's a crocodile that used to live, and it's just asleep or dead. It's petrified. And man, I have watched that video 3 or 4 times and clicked on the comments, and everybody's like, this video's AI. This video, there's a warning that said, beware, this is an AI video. And I was like, I about sent this to all my buddies saying that there's a crocodile island. And in your workforce, you hear all the time, these people have these coding jobs and all these computer jobs, and that's great and all, but being a superintendent and working in this force and just the blue collar industry, it's going to be a long time before AI takes, I don't know if it ever will, but if AI has a chance to take your job away, like AI can't be on the phone with the engineers, and it's being a superintendent and working in this industry feels like some type of job security. I mean, is that kind of how you feel, or?
Well, for me, we had an older superintendent when I first came in that worked here, and he had told me, he said, "Son, I want you to know something. There ain't been a building built that a man or a woman hadn't put their hands on.
It's true.
Don't worry about your job." He said, "Because there'll always be a need for tradesmen." He said, "Might not be what you want to do, but you'll have a job."
Yeah, it may change due to AI, and I was telling Brock, gosh, it's been a few years now where I watched a video where this machine was laying brick, on this big building, but it mainly straight walls. And there's a lot of other things out there that AI is doing. You're hearing all these, even printing these buildings, but they're real modern. Not modern, they're real standard and stuff. So yeah, a lot of custom building. I think we're years away from things that we do now. A lot of the more big square boxes or something like that may be built differently.
Yeah.
I'm sure, and then different towns and stuff around too. But I think we're years away from it. And I still think construction now, and I've been saying it for years now, is getting better and better for people to get into. Like,
yeah,
there was a time I was kind of worried about it, but I think it's now it's so much opportunity out there, and I think you even had some stats there still about the number of jobs out there that's going unfilled right now. So.
Yeah, I was watching Mike Rowe, the guy who did Dirty Jobs. I like hearing him talk. He's got one of them deep voices.
I watched his podcast.
He sounds good. And people like that are good to listen to, And he was talking, I didn't realize this, that he was big on the trade industry.
Yeah.
I kind of just thought Dirty Jobs was just for his TV show or whatever, and it might have been, but he also was like wanting to iterate that these jobs are important. And he was talking about statistically in America, the need for trade jobs is insane. Just on the electrician side, in America, statistically, there's a need for 500,000 jobs that need to be filled. And he was like, these are jobs that need to be filled yesterday. Like, these are huge jobs that people need. Like, and they asked him, where are all the electricians? Where are they at? And he said, in 8th grade. He said, 7th grade. And he said, even the automotive industry statistically needs 180,000 people to be able to keep up with the pace that we've had for so many generations. And he said, his foundation is to help put these people in the workforce and get these people workers. And they asked him, they said, where are they at? And he said, 8th grade. And he talks about how big the trade, industry is. And we say it all the time, and we've said it before, and I've said it before, but for the longest time, I thought if you were in a trade job, you were not making money. Like, I'm not saying, I thought if somebody's dad or mom was in a trade job, then they didn't have it. And then eyes are open. Like, I meet electricians who live good lives. I meet carpenters who have good lives. Superintendents have good lifestyles. Project managers have good lifestyles. Like, all these people who are in these trade jobs, and the trade jobs are important. Like, welders. Mike Rowe made the comment. He said, if things go south in America, you're going to have to call on the welders to help build more submarines. You're going to have to call on all these people to help build more stuff. And he said, those people are your trade job people.
Well, you're just talking about AI. For me, I don't see a robot coming out there and doing what we do. Now, yeah. I've seen some videos of some robots putting mortar on a wall. If it was real, he done a good job, or she. Yeah. But I don't see. I mean, how do you get them to the job? One.
Well, that's what we talk about. Saying? Like, you still have to have.
There's just too much for our hands that we can do, our mind that we can do, they can't do now.
I was telling him, they show videos of dozers that's running without anybody, and trucks on these mining where they mine. But somebody had to haul them there. Somebody had to take them there. Somebody had to set it up.
Yep.
So there's still that part of it. But
Too big to haul. One, somebody dismantled, took it apart. Wheels too big, fit on it. Track hose too big. Dozer's too big. Somebody took it apart, drove it there,
and
made sure the permits were made. You know what I mean?
The thing is, once you start having serious injuries where, you know, when there is that mix of humans and AI in the trade job force, because there's going to be problems when it first happens. It is with everything. But once you start having, you know, this wouldn't happen if there was a human doing it. This is a robot malfunction. You know, Joe Blow died because that was a robot and his programming wasn't right. You know, once you see that, there's probably going to be a halt on the trade job experience with the AI.
And it happens when I worked in manufacturing, 2009, 10, when there wasn't nowhere to work. They had robots run these boats, set these cases, whatever, and those things would short. That's what they would call it. It'd just go out, start spinning around, banging against the cage or whatever.
And I've done that before too, but I knew what I was doing. Like,
it's pretty comical because you're just watching an arm that's called a robot, you know, and this thing just starts going crazy. They're not 100% reliable, but would you rather have a human put your tire together that you purchased from a factory to put on your vehicle? Say, well, it's 90% balanced,
got to pay that
90%
human.
true, or that robot's going to be nearly 99% every time it seams that tire together for its mold.
It is crazy though.
There's a need, but it ain't for what we do. Not yet.
Well, part of a big thing to me would be, you know, the pride in knowing you can do things and knowing you have more skills. Like, you know, I worked in a cabinet shop. I framed houses. I worked in machine shops, running lathes and mills, and got into construction, commercial construction. I can, you know, back in the day, I would MIG weld, TIG weld, learn to TIG weld, stick weld, just a variety of things.
Any kind of way.
And you know, the older guys like my dad, that's the way he was. He could, you know, he'd work on anything. You could call him about anything almost. Be able to work on cars. And nowadays, I know we always say it, but a lot of people don't even care to learn.
Yep.
Nope.
They really don't. And they don't understand nothing about even their car. Like, they don't know nothing about an alternator. They don't know about what's going bad on it, fuel pumps. And I don't know why they don't want to learn that stuff. Why you don't want to be more valuable to yourself, but you're also going to be more valuable to somebody or some company the more you know.
Well, and that's kind of, you know, my stepdad, he's a sports fan, but when it come down, if you want to talk X's and O's with him, he has no clue. But when it comes to if my truck ever needs something, if my brother's adding on to his house, if a washing machine's broke, if a lawnmower's not acting right, that's who we call. And, you know, a lot of people will say, well, hang on, there ain't many in this generation that'll do that'll slice their arm open, putting something together and continue to go. And I'm not saying he's an expert in everything, but he has some type of idea. And the thing that's crazy, it's funny, I'd asked him to help me work on, I had an old Jeep, and he was like, yeah, I can help you work on it. And I was like, man, how does Alan know all this kind of stuff? He was watching YouTube videos before he even helped me out, like something I could have done. I could have watched a YouTube video too. He just had the will he wanted to take pride in knowing how to do that. After we got done, he wanted to say, yeah, now I know how to do that. And that's kind of something that I've picked up. I was not like that, even up until this past year.
Look, I will buy something and take it apart just to see how it works. I don't know why I'm that way.
Man, the first time I changed my own oil in my truck, man, I felt like I had accomplished something. And I'm all for taking your truck to get oil changed. I'm not saying that. but you at least need to know how to. As a man, and I didn't know how to, had no clue.
Well, it's a real quick story. Saturday night, it's 8:00. Come in, sat down, eat supper. I said, lights flashing? She said, wife looked at me. She said, no. I said, no, I'm pretty sure it just flashed. And I started eating. Flashed again. I said, you see it? She said, I seen it that time. And I said, something's wrong. AC's messed up or something, just what went through my mind. I finished eating. Well, I actually got up and went and turned the AC off because I could hear the fan outside. It sounded weird. And I thought while I was eating, I said, well, it's going to be a hot night probably. Or I can just get my tow bag and go out there and look at it. I'm not a HVAC guy by no means. Pulled the cover off, shined my flashlight in there. Sure enough, the wire coming off the capacitor was melted. So I thought, well, I don't know how to fix this. Ain't nobody going to come fix it tonight. So I made me up another wire, cleaned them ends up on the capacitor. We made it through the night.
Yep.
And I ordered one online. Ace had it in stock, and I went and picked it up, put it on there myself.
And that's, that older generation mindset. They are very, and I'm not saying y'all are older generation, but y'all are part of that generation. Y'all are very, let's figure it out. Let's fix it. And that, my generation is, well, who can I call that knows how to fix it? How much is this going to cost me?
Oh, yeah, where can I take it? How
soon?
soon?
How soon can you get it done? Because I have no clue what's going on. And then, where a lot of our ignorance comes is we don't even know how to do it, but we don't want you to charge us much for doing it. You know how to do it. We don't know how to.
I'm the skilled when you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you was talking about. Having the skills takes you a long way.
It takes you a long ways. Brody was one, Brody's pretty skilled for his age. And, of course, Lincoln, too. Both of them can do a lot. And that's by design. I try to make Brody do things when he was smaller and learn a little bit. But he had an interest in it too. It wasn't like you had to make him do it. He really liked to do things and learn things. And but when he went to college, that's one of the things he told me all the time. He said, "Dad, these kids don't know how to do much."
There's plenty of stories where people did charge me out the butt. And I had to pay for it because I didn't know how to do that. And now that I know how to do some of those things, I'm thinking, why in the heck did I pay that much for it? And it was because they had that skill and I didn't. And it was simple skills.
Was it for them that they had the skill, or was it, maybe I'm just a little lazy. I don't want to do it.
And just because they did it quick doesn't mean it should be cheap either. Like, I'm big on that. If I fix something for you quick, that don't mean it's cheap. I still had the skill to do it. I had the skill to find out what was wrong.
Absolutely.
I knew how to do it.
Yep. Even if it was one screw's wrong, I knew that one screw was wrong. That's my skills. And, that generation compared to this generation is we've got to pick some things up or we are going to get replaced by AI.
Well, it's
going to be tough.
When I was growing up, we was poor as dirt. Mother said, let's change the brakes on the car. I'm 12 years old. And I said, I don't think I know how to do that. She said, we'll figure it out.
Yep.
So we'll take one side off, look at the other side to put it back. We didn't have cell phones to take a picture of it.
Or Google nothing. No, didn't have it. But
well, just to enjoy each other for just a second. Speaking of the different generations, I got curious the other day and looked up some sayings from y'all's generation and a generation before y'all and a couple generations before y'all. But, you hear all these old men have all these sayings, and I want to, be in my age. Those old men crack me up. Them old guys that always have something clever to say after it, like, they crack me up. So I was doing some studying, and I was like, man, I'm going to be one of those guys. When somebody talks to me, I want to be able to come up with a saying. And I found some pretty fun ones. Probably my favorite. There's a few that I can't read on here. But there's a few that I have heard and a few that I haven't heard. One of them that I haven't heard is he's all hat and no cattle. I'm going to use that one like it's going out of style. When I see somebody who is all talk and ain't going to fight, ain't going to back it up, because that's what they're saying, or, man, I'm going to He's all hat, no cattle. And I can't wait for somebody about what you mean by that. Well, just let me tell you.
Well, your generation would be what? All bark, no bite.
All bark, no bite. Yeah, I guess it would be. One that everybody knows in the South, bless your heart. I just feel bad for you. I use that one a lot. I use this one and I start laughing. It's bad. But like Blake will tell me how bad of his day was or something, or my mom, and I'll just say praying for you. Or like I'll ask somebody, did you go to church Sunday? No. I say praying for you. And it's just a jab, and I think it's hilarious. One of them I was reading, when I saw this list, it told you where they come from, and the chip on their shoulder. I wish that was still around. I'm not a big fighter. I'm not. But a chip on the shoulder is if you had a problem with somebody, you'd go take a wood chip and sit on their shoulder. And they had to handle it. They had a chip on their shoulder. And if you didn't, you was a coward. I'm not saying I'm a big fighter, but could you imagine walking down the road or sidewalk and somebody puts a chip on somebody's shoulder and you're like, man, it's about to go down. Like, I'd be the referee.
That would be great because you wouldn't have to worry about who's mad at you anymore, or who's got a problem with you.
Would you have a stack this time?
Yeah.
Just get it over with.
Yeah.
They call that chip Facebook now, I think.
Yeah.
Hide behind the screen. But, man, we just put a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah.
I'd be stirring the pot. I'd give somebody else a chip. Put it on somebody's shoulder.
But that is a funny one because a lot of people said, man, you got a chip on your shoulder. And they probably don't even know what they're talking about. Right?
Nope. And then, cat out of the bag. Everybody says that one. Back in the Middle Ages, they would sell, like, piglets at these markets. And people who were scumbags and jerks would put cats in these bags and sell them, and if the cat ever got out, then they would know they would ask who let the cat out of the bag because it spoiled their scheme, I never knew that was where that was from. I didn't realize when I said who let the cat out of the bag, what it even freaking meant. Like, there was a literal cat in a literal bag. But yeah, those will. And my last favorite one, and I've said this for my whole life because my brother says a lot, is that dog will hunt, or that dog won't hunt. And man, somebody you could strap something to a trailer, and I'll just tap it and I'll say, yeah, that dog will hunt. Yeah, or if it's lava, that dog ain't gonna hunt. And that's probably my favorite Southern saying from y'all's generation. I think we'll steal some of those from y'all.
Well, not ours, but
well, before y'all too.
Yeah, way before us.
I'd never heard "matter in a wet hen." That's a good one.
That was a grandmother thing right there for me.
Matter in a wet hen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Have you ever seen that?
Funny story. We ordered chickens one time, thinking we was going to have hatching chickens. We ordered meat breeding chickens. And they got huge. Now they did lay some eggs, but we would kill them for watching college football on Saturdays. And we always tied them up and slit their neck or cut their head off and they'd flop. But I ain't never seen one run around.
It actually will.
Take off.
Yep. That's wild, but it will do it.
Yeah, there's quite a few that I thought were very funny. That I can't say on here. So if you see me in person, I still probably won't tell you, but I thought they were pretty funny.
My pawpaw grandmother, I don't know what it was, I guess superstition. It was bad luck to walk under a ladder, step over a rake. I don't know if y'all were ever told.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I get it ain't really bad luck to walk under a ladder until somebody drops something on your head, I guess. You know what I mean? I don't know how they come up with them wise tales. I don't get it.
I will say something that has helped me out a lot. And you're going to think it's crazy and you're going to think it's just simple. But, so I used to go to Harold and them's churches. Now I go to your church, but I used to go to Harold's church.
Our church.
Yeah, our church. But the big thing that I firmly believe in is power of life and death in the tongue. So if somebody tells you it's bad luck to walk under a ladder, and they say, man, I got bad luck. I just walked under the ladder. Well, you just spoke that. You just said, and man, I'll catch myself saying, I'll never get to do that. Well, yeah, no crap. You speaking it. And somebody come up to me and they'll be like, knock on wood, or if that's going, like Blake will say something, and he don't even mean it. He'll be like, hey, knock on wood, or that's going to happen. I'm like, I rebuke it. I rebuked that in Jesus' name. He's like, dude, it's not even a big deal. I said you will stub your toe. I'm like, nope, I rebuke that.
Yeah, you got to be real careful what comes out of your mouth. Absolutely. But
Well, I'm not a big.
I'm not
Well, that's-
superstitious. I'm just a little stitious.
No, I'm not. I'm like, I don't think there's luck,
Yeah.
yeah.
good or bad. I mean, I just don't see it that way.
Now, I'm not superstitious, but now, we teach at our church. Obviously, your words are very, very
Yes.
important. So don't say things like I'm going to have bad luck or I'm going to do this.
Or I just can't get nothing done right.
Well, I'll never be anything. Or I won't do this or I can't do that.
Speak it into existence.
Yeah.
Speak it into existence.
Like,
believe
shoot, I'm
it.
going to have a good day this morning.
Yep.
And you tend to usually have a good day.
And a lot of people think that's, I don't know. They think that's weird that you talk that way, but I think it's weird you talk negative.
Yeah. About your own life.
About your own life and
Yeah.
about your own friends, your own family, and things you say.
Well, that's if you get around people now, it's. I'm not trying to change subject, but it's a lot of bashing of other people. It's like that's all they can conversate with,
Yep.
and I can't stand that. So I'm kind of a mute when I'm in large crowds. I just don't get in on it. I don't really like it.
We talk about it a lot. Everybody wants to be judged off their intentions, but judge everybody else off their actions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, comparison and jealousy, both of them are the thief of joy. And, man, if I looked at half the people that I was just a little bit jealous of and I really let that get to me, I'd be miserable. And, I will say I was told one thing that changed my spiritual life a couple of years ago. I was playing golf, and I've told a lot of people this story, but I was talking about people I just could not get along with. I didn't like them. And the guy I was with, my Uncle Chad, and he said, why don't you try something? He said, it's hard to hate somebody you're praying for. He said, I want you to just pray for them. He said, I'm not talking go up and hug them and be buddy-buddy with them. Just pray for them. He said, see if that changed your perspective. So I laid down that night, and I was praying, and I was like, Lord, bless so-and-so. Your will be done. And I said amen. I was like, still don't like them. Well, then 3 or 4 times go by, and I see something happen good for them, and I was genuinely thinking, man, Lord, you blessed them. And now in my prayer life, it's, and you can ask anybody that I bless food with, the people who don't even like me, Lord, bless them. And when you get to view things that way, and when you get to even the people that don't like you, when you pray for the Lord to bless them and work in their life, you get so free. And I will say the Lord has freed me in so many ways as far as, Lord, if your ways are better anyways, if you choose to bless them and you choose that your will is for them to be very prosperous, why in the heck do I not want them to be prosperous? Like if it's if I claim to serve you and it's your idea and you choose to bless them, I'm going to rejoice for it too. And so yeah, if you don't like somebody, a little piece of advice from Brock: if there's somebody you don't like, and I know everybody's got them, pray for them. Try it. I'm telling you, it has changed my life. And
well, you can pray for them and hope the best for them too. That's
and
once you reach a point in your life where you can do that and really do it, genuinely do it. Like, you really mean it. And then you're free. Like, it makes it so much better for you. But that still doesn't mean that you got to hang out with them.
Oh, gosh, no.
I mean, you got to do things with them. I get kind of, I guess you can say some stones thrown at me occasionally because I'm a little rough as far as rude or won't talk or something, but that's exactly what it is. I'm not mad at you. I don't wish nothing bad on you. I'll pray for you.
Yeah.
I hope God blesses you to no end.
Yep.
But I don't want to associate with you.
Yeah, don't want to hang out with you.
I don't want to hang out with you. And, you can read through, people's got different interpretations of that, but I've read and studied and I'm comfortable with that. Like,
I'm not inviting them to my family dinner.
well, I always say you're not coming to my barbecue.
Yeah.
That's my little statement.
Love thy neighbors.
I respect you. I don't want to see anybody.
Hey, I can look over the fence and love you.
Yeah, I don't want to
You
see
ain't got to be
anybody.
at my barbecue.
I don't want to see anybody fail.
Yeah.
But
No.
you just ain't
Heck
got
no.
to.
I want to see people succeed.
Yep.
I really do.
Well, it goes back to the old saying, it's better to give than receive, right?
Absolutely.
I've had some problems with some things in the past, and just actually going up and talking to that person, it worked out. I mean, I don't know how this is going to go.
Yep.
You know, we'll settle it today, whether it's physical or not, and it's just crazy how God's worked things out when you pray and seek Him, and wind up getting past the hurt and the pain and being friends, or not necessarily we're going to go out to eat together, but we might text, random, or hey,
What?
how you doing, or I'm not going to go probably for a rescue or nothing with them, but I don't have no hate towards them.
Well, I also saw a prayer is from a TikTok. A girl was talking about it. She was talking about it relationship-wise, but it's any relationship. And it's praying about that person. Lord, if I don't need to have a friendship with them, remove them from my life. I hope they're Christian. I want to be Christian. I want to see them do good. But there's just some people that don't mesh. Like there's some personalities that don't mesh with mine.
Well,
and that's how it goes. And
that's true, and everybody's in different stages of their life. They've gone through different things. You can't communicate like you haven't been married yet. You don't have children yet. It's hard for you to communicate with somebody and feel like what they would have towards a child or something, because you haven't had it yet. Same thing with other things in your life. Like there's other people that's had more drama and more things that's going on, bad things. And it's hard for them to communicate or be, really, really be with somebody or conversation-wise with them when you don't understand. You can say you understand
but you don't.
all day long, but you don't.
Yep.
And you need to get, things like that. Sometimes you just don't mesh. I've had people in business, I've told them on the telephone, not many, I know there's been a few. Look, I won't call you again. You don't call me again. You go do your thing, I'll do my thing.
Best of luck to you.
Yep, no problem. Wish you well. I don't agree with your tactics. I don't agree with the way you do things, and I don't want to be associated with it.
Yep.
And we move on.
That's having a healthy mindset of what you want.
Yeah, and Derek can tell you, you have to find subs that mesh with you and care about your business like you do.
They represent us on our job.
They represent us. So we'll have some come in, especially new ones, or like when one went down to Lynette, or you go off somewhere, you pick up some new subs.
Yeah.
They may come in all foul mouthed. They may come in, well, we just working with y'all this one time. We don't care what you think, or we don't care. You have to set them straight a little bit.
Yeah.
You have to. But and sometimes you just say, all right, we're going to get through this, and we'll be done with you.
Yeah.
And the same thing in your personal life. You just sometimes I probably do it a little more than I need to. But,
I do too.
but I protect my barbecue.
Yep. And there's plenty of barbecues I'm not invited to, so I'm cool.
Me
with it.
too.
Like I'm not mad at you.
My feelings ain't hurt.
Yeah. Well, Derek, we appreciate you taking time out of your day and off the job site and coming and hanging out with us, telling us, kind of what goes on in the superintendent's life.
I would say one thing, and you probably know what it is more so than me, but I don't know if I'll be back to do another podcast. I just want to put it out there. Me, my little boy and wife, we're going with our church on a mission trip here in the state, South Dakota. It's an Indian reservation. Do you remember the name of it, Brock? I don't know that I can say it if I seen it.
Yeah, I can't pronounce it. It's like Tunawahi, or I don't even want to mess it up. I don't.
Yeah, it's something.
Hey, how are you?
ranch.
I don't know. I don't.
I just want to say that, put that in there. I've never been on an airplane, so we got to fly, and I don't know how that's going to work out for me and my mindset. But my little boy, he looked at me one day just as serious, and he said, Daddy, if Jesus died for you, I think you can fly for him.
Amen.
Oh, Lord.
And I said, well, I'm in, son.
He got you there.
He got me. But I think it'll be a good little trip for us. He's the one that's pushed it. My son Asher. He's been fired up about it, and they told him, "You're too young to go," and he pitched a fit about that. He wasn't gonna have no.
He seems excited. Y'all sit behind me at church.
Yeah, he's fired up. He's ready to go tomorrow, but it's in October, so.
Well, my big tell we'll be staying on the ground for this trip. Obviously, I go to church with you, so I'll be praying for you. But
You're gonna take the mules, and you'll be there. You got to leave 2 months early.
yeah, I ain't even seen a plane up close, so we got to work smoothly into that. I may take a Birmingham to Atlanta flight.
Yeah, we got to get you on an airplane.
I'm gonna be amazed. But
I'm sure I will be too. The thought of that thing closing in, sealing off, is what freaks me out. I'm not scared of heights by no means.
I ain't scared of heights. I'm just scared of falling from them.
Get you some earphones and kick back and forget about it. You have to let go, because when I first started flying, or even on a cruise, stuff like that, I tell Lori, this has been years ago now, but I said, before I go, I want to go meet that pilot. I said, I gotta see who this is flying this plane, or I want to see who's over the ship. And she like, that's not going to happen.
It don't work like that.
It don't work that way. So I had to get over that 2 years ago. But now, you, like everybody, that's why you see so many people with things in their ears and reading books or watching the movies.
Going to sleep. And
Yeah, you'll tune it out.
Well, I want to hear the engines and all. I want to know something's going wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to listen.
Well, it's
I wanna
not
listen to
going to
this
matter.
plane.
Like, if you're looking out and your engine's on fire, it ain't really nothing you can do. So
Yeah.
that's
At
what I'm
that
telling
point-
you. You just need to relax, forget it, because there ain't nothing you can do.
it's like living in a old abandoned trailer park when a tornado comes through. Just stick your head between your legs and kiss your butt goodbye.
Well, when we was used to frame houses, we had jokes of falling off a house. Everybody would always say the only fear I have is living when I hit the ground, because I don't want to be crippled for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Well,
But anyway,
that'll be a good trip.
Yeah.
A little plug for the mission trip. We all believe in Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. So that kind of trip is a huge deal.
Yeah, one day you're going to heaven anyway, so
Yeah,
you won.
Which day it is ain't up to
It
me.
It ain't up to you.
ain't our
so-
choice. But yeah, we appreciate you listening, Derek. Once again, we thank you for coming out. It is Friday, so I hope you two guys have a great Friday. Have a long weekend. I know I'm gonna have a good weekend. Me and Harold. If you watched the Brooke Gibbs episode, me and Harold are going to help Brooke Sunday and Monday sell some hats. So I get to wear a cowboy hat, so everybody knows how good I'm going to look. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. Me and Harold get to take a little road trip together. Just it's gonna be a good time. But yeah, we appreciate y'all listening to us, and I hope you have a great weekend.